Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids across our beloved empire to your 2022 All Galactic Legends ranked from best to worst in-depth review. Galactic Legends are the peak of power in Galaxy of Heroes, and frankly, you can't excel into the end game without getting your hands on one of these puppies back here. We have a 13-point inspection of each of these Galactic Legends, because although they are all amazing and better than a grand majority of the characters in the game, not all Galactic Legends were created equal. Few quick notes before we get going. Point number one, Datacrons are in Galaxy Heroes. We are not considering Datacron power. It's artificial and it's only temporary. When you invest in a Galactic Legend, you want to know how good are they going to be without Datacrons. Sometimes it gets heated when we talk about Galactic Legends. I just want to assure you, no matter which Galactic Legend you get, you are getting an amazing character. However, as I said, not all Galactic Legends are equal. Just like cars, there's a lot of amazing top quality cars out there, but some are better than others. But at the end of the day, we would all love these cars in our garage if we can have the opportunity. When choosing a Galactic Legend, likely you want to know how long is it going to take until you get one? How expensive in terms of money and time? How much gear and relics are you going to require? This might be the category you want to focus on here, because some of these Galactic Legends can get pretty expensive really quickly. Talking about gear, the bread and butter of getting any sort of legendary based character in Galaxy of Heroes, I'm going to show a few graphs just showing the sheer amount of gear that you need with some of the most important bottlenecks: Kyrotech, Carbanti, stun guns. In total, you're looking at a range of anywhere from the minimum of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren being about 10,180 pieces of total important gear, all the way to a whopping 18,260 of the important pieces of gear. Do note though, with the gear and relics that we're going to break down, for Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, he has a lot of nesting doll legendaries. So you're looking at, for example, the combination of Jedi Knight Luke's and Jedi Master Luke's requirements. So his gear is going to look a little bit more inflated than the others, but we'll talk about more about that in the quality of requirements later on to balance it out. So let's start putting our first scores on the board here. How the scoring is going to work is the smaller the number, the better you are in a particular category. So you want to be as close to one as possible at the end of all of our scoring. The next important aspect is going to be relics. That's the second barrier of the bottleneck in Galaxy Heroes. After you get the gear 13, you're not quite done yet. There are two pieces to the puzzle when it comes to relics. You have signal data and you also have relic pieces. When it comes to signal data, this is going to blow your mind here. At the minimum, for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, you're going to need 1,995 pieces of signal data, all the way up to a whopping 3,730 pieces of signal data for Lord Vader. Yikes! And then for the actual relic pieces that you need to scrap to upgrade, at the minimum, you're looking at 7,185 total pieces of relic material, going all the way up to a whopping 12,350 total pieces of relics needed for Lord Vader. One of the reasons why we're seeing a steady increase of relics over time is primarily because Relic 8 was introduced into Jedi Master Kenobi's requirements, only 2 of them, and 4 of them were required for Lord Vader, and those extra little pieces of relics takes a lot more material. But you know what? Maybe you won't care as much about how much you have to gear up. You would care more about, are you going to get good stuff out of those requirements? Good teams, Omicrons, ships. Well, we got a category for you here, and that's the quality of requirements for these characters. Galactic Legends Rey requires a nice variety of things. She's got a pretty decent team with the Resistance Heroes and Jedi Training Rey. She's got an alright fleet, that being the raddest, although not the greatest fleet in the game. There are a couple Omicrons, but the Omicrons for Rey have not been that impactful. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Their requirements got a lot more lucrative this year, with the addition of the TIE Enchilada making the Finalizer a counter to the top-end fleet, the Executor. Omicrons making the First Order TIE Pilot fantastic, as well as Captain Phasma. And even without the Omicrons, Kylo Ren with Hux and Sith Trooper form a pretty good team until you get the Galactic Legend. Sith Eternal has pieces of teams out there. You can build, for example, part of an Imperial Trooper team. You're going to need to get the rest out there. You can build part of an Emperor Palpatine lineup, but you still need to go get Mara Jade and the others. You don't really farm a fleet. You just have to farm the TIE Bomber, but definitely not as impressive compared to the others. Jedi Master Luke. Those are some crazy gears that he needed to get his requirements up and running. Jedi Master Luke requires Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, which requires Commander Luke Skywalker, Millennium Falcon, Rebel Y-Wing, Hermit Yoda, and a variety of other fantastic characters like the Wampa and their Omicron. You're going to be on a very enjoyable journey because you're going to be chasing after a variety of legendary based events. So we're going to give him a score of 1 with Jedi Master Kenobi's requirements. The main highlight, honestly, is the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron, as well as purposely farming the Negotiator. Otherwise, it's mostly mishmashy characters. Some Separatist droids. Wat Tambor is, of course, fantastic, but you don't really need him at Relic 7. Mace Windu recently got a rework, which makes him a little bit more enticing. Lord Vader. He has the highest amount of relics and the second highest amount of gear needed to get him unlocked. What are you getting for that amount of effort here? Probably the main highlights to Lord Vader is the fact you're forced to farm the Bad Batch, one of the best non-legendary teams in the game, second best non-legendary team after Imperial Troopers. You also have Zam Wesell, who got an Omicron and is one of the best Omicrons for Grand Arena. But honestly, the core of it is General Anakin Skywalker, and General Anakin Skywalker has a giant slew of requirements needed. For example, a variety of ships, Padme Amidala. So that's where the core of the value of the requirements are coming from, is kind of from General Anakin Skywalker's requirements. So we're going to give him a score of 1. If you're someone that doesn't have a lot of teams, you kind of want to farm Galactic Legends that have the team already made inside of the requirements, and you don't have to go outside of the requirements to build the team. Rey and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, we're going to give a score of 1. Basically, the best team for them are the requirements that come with them. Sith Eternal, not looking very hot. You could put together a team with, for example, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Dooku, Sidious. It's just not the ideal team. The ideal team for Sith Eternal really isn't any Sith. It's Wat Tambor, Armorer, Geonosis and Brood Alpha, Thrawn, Jedi Master Luke, although you do have Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker and Hermit Yoda, which are going to be solid staples. Jedi Master Kenobi, unfortunately, you're not really going to be using a lot of the requirements for the ideal Jedi Master Kenobi team. Even without Commander Ahsoka Tano, you kind of want to have Ahsoka Tano. Maybe Jedi Knight Anakin, Padme Amidala. Luckily, there's Shaak Ti and Grandmaster, which you can use, but it's definitely not the ideal team you're going to want to have. And then Lord Vader is probably the worst out of all of them, where although he's got a lot of fantastic characters and teams associated with him, the problem is you're not really going to use any of these characters that you're farming for Lord Vader. He doesn't have 501st synergy. He doesn't have Bad Batch synergy. It's solely Empire synergy. Unfortunately, with Lord Vader, it's probably a Galactic Legend you don't want to get until you have the ideal characters. So taking a look at the average scores for this category, we see Supreme Leader Kylo Ren excels in this category. He needs the least amount of gear, least amount of relics. He's got very solid quality prerequisites, and the requirements that you're going to farm up are the ideal Supreme Leader Kylo Ren team, so you don't have to do really any more farming except maybe farm Daka and Zombie for more of the advanced crazy counters. More gear and relics should equal more better. Is that true? Well, let's get into our next category, shall we? Next category is probably the most important category. Graphic number 2 is focusing on the power and actually using the Galactic Legends here. One important thing to note, these scores we're about to break down, we do not consider lifter units, although we will have a category that will give extra points to those that have lifter units such as Maul, Commander Ahsoka Tano, and soon to be potentially Ben Solo that was just announced for Galactic Legends Rey. First category is performance versus Galactic Legends when you're using them on offense here. And again, not considering lifter units, let's take a look at Rey, for example. Rey is not really seen as an offensive powerhouse in Galaxy here. She's more meant to be a defensive team that almost requires a Galactic Legend to beat her. If you are going to use Rey for offense, probably you're only really going to use her for mirror matches. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren can pretty much beat every Galactic Legend either in a hard counter or solid counter situation, and really their main weakness is going to be Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. You can still beat Jedi Master Luke Skywalker with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but it gets a lot trickier. Now Sith Eternal Emperor can beat pretty much every Galactic Legend, some very easy, some with a little bit more effort, but still fairly easy. When looking at Jedi Master Luke Skywalker on the offensive uses, he pretty much hard counters almost every Galactic Legend. Rey, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Lord Vader, Jedi Master Kenobi. Sith Eternal is kind of his sore spot. And then Jedi Master Kenobi is pretty much the hard counter to every Galactic Legend, even without Commander Ahsoka Tano. And then there's Lord Vader. Again, not looking at the situation of Maul. We'll have that in a couple steps from now. Without Maul, Lord Vader is going to feel a bit underwhelming. It's going to feel a bit of a struggle. However, he does excel in situations like, again, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And especially in matches like Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Master Kenobi, it gets a lot trickier for Lord Vader to win those battles. As we're going to see, a large part of Lord Vader's viability is going to be kind of tied either just soloing or being paired off with Maul. So those are the scores that we have for offensive uses pieces of Galactic Legends versus other Galactic Legends. How about their defensive performance? How do they work on defense? We're going to showcase their performance against Galactic Legends and the non-GL counters to these Galactic Legends. Taking a look at Ray, pretty much every Galactic Legend can beat her. Of course, we're not considering Datacrons. Non-Galactic Legends counters is where Ray really shines, especially since the Great Nerf of 2021. There aren't a lot of non-Galactic Legends counters. This is probably going to be the most important category, because if you're going to have a Galactic Legend on defense, you want your opponent to be guaranteed almost to trade a Galactic Legend or a very expensive character or team. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, almost every Galactic Legend can beat him. When it comes to the non-GL counters, there are not a lot of non-GL counters. Jedi Knight Revan is probably the only one that's going to be utilized against him, which isn't a very expensive team. Still, not a lot of off-meta ways to counter him. Sith Eternal, unfortunately, he is not known for defensive viability. Every Galactic Legend can practically solo him. Non-Galactic Legend counters he has the most, ranging from the Wampa Omicron, ranging to Maul, General Grievous. List goes on and on and on. This isn't a character you really want to put on defense. He's meant to be a one or two man wonder to go up against a lot of these Galactic Legends or other teams. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, when it comes to GLs, there's not a lot of hard counters to him. Jedi Master Luke is one of them. Jedi Master Kenobi's the hard counter, as well as Sith Eternal. But when it comes to non-Galactic Legend counters, there's definitely a few. Primarily, Darth Revan is the heavy counter, with maybe even Darth Malgus if you have him. General Grievous is a softish counter, kind of rough. And then Master Kenobi, again, we're going to show some non-Commander Tano as well as Commander Tano variants of counters here. The score is going to show their non-lifter unit performance. On defense, it's going to do very well against Galactic Legends. Non-Galactic counters, if you don't have Commander Ahsoka Tano, there are a few areas of opportunity to beat him, such as General Anakin Skywalker. And if you do consider Commander Ahsoka Tano, there are practically no off-meta non-Galactic Legends counters. Really, the only possible off-meta non-Galactic Legend counter is Padme Amidala with Commander Tano, and Commander Tano is kind of an important character in the game. And then Lord Vader, without Maul, you're gonna have a lot of ways to get by him, ranging from Imperial Troopers to a variety of different style bounty hunter teams with Omicrons or without Omicrons. Next category, we have the solo category. At times, you want to use a Galactic Legend and maybe solo an entire team. This is gonna be a more straightforward approach, where we're gonna give ones a perfect score for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Sith Eternal, and Jedi Master Kenobi, as well as Lord Vader. Those are all very solid solo characters that could solo entire teams. Rey, we're going to give it 2. She does have a good degree of solo ability, but not to the extent of others, though. And then Master Luke, we're going to give a score of 3. It's a little bit unfair for Master Luke, but he's the only tank-based Galactic Legend. And this is where we're going to give a lot of bonus points to Lord Vader as well as Master Kenobi, the lifter units, as we call them now. If you don't know what a lifter is, think of it, it's like a modifier for a vehicle. That's going to help you get untapped potential of tons of extra horsepower. These are primarily Conquest-based characters like Maul, Commander Ahsoka Tano, and soon we will have Ben Solo. So we're going to give a score of 1, a perfect score for Lord Vader and Jedi Master Kenobi. We just got news that Ben Solo is coming to Galaxy Heroes as the next Conquest unit for Rey. I can only assume they're going to make Rey amazing, even more so than she is on defense. It probably wouldn't be wise as a reviewer to give a score for something I haven't tested yet. So I'm going to give Rey a 3, which is what Sith Eternal and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Master Luke have. But keep a mental note, her value is probably higher than I'm giving her right now. And that's going to be the scoreboard for overall power in PvP game modes here. And here, Jedi Master Kenobi leads by a large margin. But we still have one more category. Not the most important category, I agree. It's going to be PvE content. Pretty much all these Galactic Legends are going to be great in the PvE aspect. Territory battles, raids, assault battles. And I also threw in a score for ships. If you're looking for Galactic Legends that are going to force you to build up good fleets, you're going to want to go for things like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren for the Finalizer, Jedi Master Luke for a variety of Rebel ships, Jedi Master Kenobi for a variety of Galactic Republic ships, like the Negotiator. Raids, we're talking Heroic AAT, Heroic Sith Raid, as well as the Challenge Rancor Raid. But some are going to be a lot better. If you do care about the raids, you're going to want to focus on Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Raid, Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Master Kenobi. Those are the best raid characters overall. Lord Vader is also pretty solid as well. He does great in the AAT, does great in the Sith Triumvirate raid. Not the greatest in the Challenge Rancor raid, so he's getting a 2. Sith Eternal, not going to be quite the Galactic Legend you're going to want to get for raid-based material. Arguably the least helpful Galactic Legend when it comes to the raids. Assault battles, again, we're not going to give a lot of points to this. One, if you do have an assault battle, because you kind of want to find a way to get more return on investment by a variety of game modes like assault battles to get extra Chirotech gear, relic material, materials. Territory battles, again, pretty much all these Galactic Legends are going to be very solid inside of GOTB. That's kind of what you want to use them for. I did give Ray a slightly lower score. Just because you have Ray, it doesn't feel like you're guaranteed to win. You can definitely lose a lot of characters, sometimes not even get through a wave. I feel like she's the roughest in territory because she needs to get a lot of setup going, and sometimes that's hard to get rolling. And there you have the average score for the category of PvE and ships. So let's put all these scores together and show you what we're looking at. We have two categories that we need to look at with these scores. We're going to look at best overall value Galactic Legends, and then we're going to just look at raw power. If you don't care about gear and relics, how hard it is to get them, that's going to be the category. What's the best Galactic Legends you can get? Taking a look at our budget, taking a look at overall bang for buck Galactic Legends, Supreme Kowren leads the charge big time here. Jedi Master Kenobi, even though he's got a couple of relic gates, needs a little bit more relic material than a lot of other Galactic Legends, coming up as second best overall value Galactic Legend, primarily because the amount of effort you're putting in to get the Galactic Legend and the relics, you're getting big bang for your buck still. He is the most powerful offensive and defensive Galactic Legend without Commander Ahsoka Tano, and he only gets better with Ahsoka Tano even more. For power, he really didn't need, to be honest. Coming up at number 3, we're putting Jedi Master Luke here as best overall value. He does need crazy amounts of gear. Luckily, not as big of a relic build compared to others, despite all the gear he needs and the variety of characters. Take a look at the bottom 3 Galactic Legends. Galactic Legend Ray is coming in at number 4, and I do want to say, because of the fact we don't have Ben Solo in the calculation, she's probably not going to have as high of a score now, but give it a couple months, she might take over one of the top 3 slots in a few months from now. Lord Vader, we're putting it at number 5. He's got an inverse problem of Kenobi. Yes, he's expensive. He's more expensive. The most expensive Galactic Legend to get in terms of time. Relics. The problem is you're not quite getting that much bang per buck. Not that much dollar per horsepower value here. He heavily relies on Maul, and that's not something you want to hear if you're not going to get Maul for a very long time because of how difficult Proving Grounds is to access and get a hold of the character shards. You need to go out of your way to build up characters for him, and especially without Maul, it feels like he's underwhelming. He struggles. He needs a lot of time to charge up his capabilities. Problem is as well, unlike Kenobi, there is a lot more availability off meta, non-Galactic Legends counters to Lord Vader, and that's not what you really want to hear. Dead last for overall value is Sith Eternal. Not great on defense, doesn't have a lifter unit, not a great fleet to go with him. His main forte is mainly to take a Watt, take an armor, and beat pretty much every Galactic Legend. And if my opinion's not good enough for you, we opened up a community poll for people on YouTube, Discord, Reddit, to fill in their response and what they thought were the best overall value and overall power Galactic Legends, and here were the results. So to a good extent, it seems like we were kind of on a similar page when it came to ranking these Galactic Legends. Thank you so much for spending your time here on the channel, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave that like, comment down below on your thoughts. Nonetheless, they're all great characters in the grand scheme of Galaxy of Heroes, just like all of you guys. Thank you so much, and always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.